Hello everyone. Today my topic is to not or not novel feeding behaviors in moray eels. And I'm Carl. Hey. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to introduce to you guys about what is an moray eel. Are they related to eels? Where do they live? And what do they prey on? Or what do they eat? And of course, you can see it is a fish. And it lives in the ocean. It seems to have an elongated body, which it looks pretty long and slim, right? And look at the left bottom picture. You can know it's a delicious dish. Are the creature on the right same as the tasty treats on the right? Not quite. But so back to the question, are they related to eels? And the answer is okay. Thank you. Okay, so yes, they are a kind of eel, but however, they are a distant relative to the eel we know. In classification, they are all the same until family. They are in the same order called Anguilliformes, but moray eels have a different family called Murenidae. And we can look at the picture below. Their biggest difference in appearance is that moray eels have no pectoral fins or reduced pectoral fins, but the regular eel we know have the pectoral fin that moray eels don't have. And the next is where do they live? So that's a regular eel. We know that their life cycle will go through the freshwater and saltwater. When eel wants to reproduce, they will leave the freshwater and go to the ocean and produce baby. And when the fish grown adults, they will go back to river. But however, the moray eels, vast majority live in the ocean and never touch fresh water. And the habitat they live mostly contain is reef and shelter which they can hide. Because of that, they are not a really good swimmer and they have kind of a weak eyesight. So the reef environment is very important to them. And next is what do they eat? So they have very sharp teeth and a very wide jaw, and it makes them a top predator in the reef ecosystem. They mostly feed on the smaller fish or octopus or crustaceans like crabs or lobsters, etc. And you can see the picture below. The moray eel is swallowing a poisonous reef fish called lionfish. And even a poisonous fish like lionfish can be a prey to them and make them seem more invincible. And we know that they can eat a lot of things, right? But how? How do they hunt? Okay, so there are 4 feeding behaviors for the moray eels being observed before, which is breaching out of reef, cooperating with some big predators like groupers and hunt together, rotate themselves while holding prey in their jaw, and bend their body into knots to anchor large prey and compress prey into smaller pieces. And I'm gonna show you a picture. So how do they hunt? So the first picture is they stick their head and their body out of the rock and shelter, which is a kind of a strategy, which is breaching out of the reef. And because I mentioned before that moray eels are not really a good swimmer, so they can't really outchase their prey if they want to swim away. So they need to play ambush to strike on their prey in a second. So, and you can see the picture to the right. And it's a moray eel swimming with a grouper. And let me see. When they go hunting, moray eel will go through a narrow slit or small caves to scare out the prey inside. And then when the prey go out to the open water, then the grouper will start to hunt. And let's take an example. It's just like playing a video game. The moray eel is a support, and the grouper is an AD. When support clear the opponent in the bush, it's time for AD to output damage. And this skill let them increase their both their hunting successfulness. Okay, so if the prey for moray eel is too big for them to eat, then what? They have other skills like bite the prey and rotate themselves and make themselves like an axle, like this. Oh, yeah, spin their body. Or anchor or compress their prey into smaller pieces. Okay, so can there be another kinds of hunting style for moray eels? Is a question? Yeah. And let's go through the materials and method. So the study is in the Scott Reef, which is located in northwestern of Australia. And there are 2 observation sites at the Scott Reefs in this research. And the observation tool, which is the method they use, is the Bait Remote Underwater Video System, known as BRUVS. It's a method to study the behavior of fish by setting a bait to attract the fish and capture the behavior of them in front of the digital video camera. And there's a total of 56 deployments across the 2 sites of the reefs, and record for 60 minutes per deployment. Okay, so this is the observation tool they use, which is the BRUVS. And you can see that the system is made out of 2 cameras, one here and one here. And the research aid is held by the frame 30 centimeters above seafloor, which is here 30 centimeters, but it means not really. And it is attached to a 1.5 meter long tube, and which have a bait bag at the end with 1 kilogram of sardine inside. Okay. So next is the result. Through the observation, they have found 2 species of moray eels doing 2 kinds of new foraging behavior. Which is, one is this called Gymnothorax vavaginus, as known as a laced moray eel, or in Mandarin, 大斑裸胸唇. And I'm gonna call it moray eel. And the next is the Gymnothorax fimbriatus, which is known as a fimbriate moray eel. Mandarin, 花旗裸胸唇, called as moray F. Okay, so there are some new feeding behaviors being founded in moray eel and recorded to have a cool way to attack the bait bag, which it bites the bait bag and paddle its tail, try to tear the food out of the bag. And its total span is for 5 minutes and 33 seconds in the view of the camera. And the thing he do is that he attack in one direction and another direction, and then he use a tail as a paddle and form a leverage to open the bag. And I will demonstrate with my right hand. And if my elbow is the bait bag and my hand is tail, it paddle the water and try to pull the bait bag out of the stick. And the new application of the known behavior I mentioned before, the knot. The moray elf being recorded to use a fast-moving knot for form from its tail and push the knot to the back and undo the knot. What does it mean? I'm gonna tell you right away. And the individual repeats this action again and again, and it total span 1 minute and 30 seconds in the camera. Okay, so the biting back is like this. It's here and it bite the bait. It bite the bait and form is knot on the tail and it push the knot onto the back like this. I demonstrate here in the simple picture. Push the knot to the bait. If the arrow is the bait, it push and push, and it unleash the bait and unleash the knot and do it again. It's very different from the knot application I mentioned. Okay, so discussion is to comparing the knot behavior. The past observation of knotting is to anchor the large prey in order them to tear it down into smaller pieces or to break down the prey. And the new observation for knot is to suggest that, moray eel may have extensive skill to eat prey by pushing knot to its target. So knotting can use as a strength or a skill. It's a smart thing to do for them. Okay, so why is behavior or moray? Why is feeding behavior important study for moray eel? Moray important. So, let me think. Okay, so as we know, they can for as a habitat or survival guiding conservation efforts, and since most of the moray eels hunt in the reef environments, protecting coral reefs may support their population, and as we may use.
So as the first, you talk about the moray eel, they hunting and stay in the reef.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the research in Australia, they hunting by forming a knot. But so there are two types of hunting way for moray eel. Is that right?
More than two. The hunting skill in the past, there are 4 kinds of hunting skill, and they found a new way of knotting because the past observation for their knotting is to anchor the prey and to compress the prey into smaller pieces, And the next is they can use a moving knot like this.
But they are not a good smell, as you say. So can they really catch the prey? If the prey is really fast, or maybe like fish, other fish that is really fast, can they really catch them by forming a knot?
I don't know. I don't really know. Because the knot, basically they mentioned it as they use it in the reef system, which has very small spaces between reefs. Is the application of the moving knot for them to use, not in the moving water, because they can catch the fish. They can't swim that fast.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
I think your presentation is really interesting, but what's the purpose of this researcher? I mean, yeah, why we need to know about this?
So why feeding behavior of moray eel important? Is because maybe they can put a conservation on their ecosystem, or maybe in biomimicry to their hunting behavior, like forming a knot. They can use in maybe making robotic arms or whatever to study the ocean floor, or maybe in the medical surgery. I don't know.
To compare with other ways they pray. Is the new way more efficient or not?
I really don't know because they only observed this behavior one time.
So they only found a new way.
So this is one individual. So maybe not every eel will do that.
Oh,
You know.
okay. Thank you.
You say the moray scare the prey or what?
They scare the prey under the reefs.
How do
it's
they scare
very-
the prey? How?
They are predator.
Oh, I think they just okay.
Yeah.
So I think you would agree with me that this is a very nice talk and very interesting, very enjoyable. Okay, so I was a bit worried yesterday because this paper was super short, and the photo you saw was the only data in this paper. So I'm really afraid that he can't even make maybe 6 minutes, but he did a good job. So the introduction part was nice, but considering that you were too long, maybe you need to condense it. And then another thing for this part is considering the question of Stephanie. So this is also a general question for biologists who study animal behavior. So why does it matter to study animal behavior? And where you have these later slides to talk about this, maybe you can, instead of putting it here, maybe you can justify yourself at the beginning by saying why animal behavior is, we should study this, the importance, okay. Okay, and here, there's a keywords here where you mentioned that they can't swim fast. Okay, it seems to be a very important issue. And I hope that next time you can print the keywords, which is pectoral fin, right? You can print the keywords here. And then you also print, did you ever print the keywords, they can swim fast? Okay, you mentioned several times, but please add it next time, okay? And because there's a reason that they develop these various type of feeding or hunting behavior, which is very interesting to me. So, and I also hope that next time you don't need to look at this. You can do it, right? Okay, I'm sure you can do it. And from time to time, he has this funny teaser, like this one, and also here, somehow I found it funny. I don't know why. So, but these are nice. Okay, this is not bad. Okay, and you can see that his presentation was image rich, and the animal, this creature was also cute enough, so it's very eye catching. Huh? I actually like this animal. And then at some point, this is a very nice skill that he used. Here, he was using an example of playing games to describe their relationship. So I always call this, the speaker can try to humanize the object of under discussion, 就是拟人化. This will usually makes the audience more devoted, more interested in the talk, because it feels like you're talking about human society. Then this makes people more共振. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And it's nice that he found this photo of the instrument, so it's very easy. So you can see this kind of image is very helpful. And he also used the trick I mentioned weeks ago, like call them L or F. And here, there's another nice trick that he used. He used his body language. This is also very important, because when I was reading the paper, I was thinking, oh, what exactly is the action that the moray eel was doing? Then he demonstrated with his body language, so it's then clear to me. So this is also nicely done, and he also used this kind of guideline and print the keywords next to the photo and enlarge the photo. So this is very nice, all nicely done. Okay. And also this part where he has the second part and use this explanation, which is also very helpful, because to me it's not very clear. Oh, here, okay, that's the knot. But in general, this is a very nicely done talk. The only thing is you need to emphasize the importance, and you please don't look at your script next time. then I'm sure it will be an excellent talk. So thank you, Carl.